Imagine this: you're walking into a room and you sense it before you see it. A presence so quietly commanding, so intensely alive, that it bends the energy around it like wind shaping sand. Some women carry this without speaking a word, without a deliberate gesture. Their power does not announce itself with flamboyance. It coils, invisible yet undeniable, like a river carving its path under the earth. The world is not aware of the currents they command, yet men feel it, often before they can name it. This is the dangerous magnetism of emotional control, a subtle art mastered by those who have ventured into the depths of their own psyche and emerged not fractured, but whole. It is not manipulation born of fear or insecurity. It is command born of clarity, from a woman who has met her shadow and spoken to it with tenderness and unflinching resolve. In the quiet of her gaze, the masculine unconscious stirs. There is a recognition there, something primal and archaic, a signal encoded in the deep recesses of the mind, where ego and instinct wrestle. Men feel it like a pulse under their ribs, an energy that calls them into alignment without asking for permission. She does not chase. She does not bend or adapt to fill the gaps of their desire. Instead, she cultivates a space where her own emotional gravity is sovereign, a force field shaped by the awareness of self, by the disciplined mastery over her own reactions. The Stoics would call it detachment, but it is more than detachment. It is intentionality. It is the alchemy of transforming raw emotion into a tool of presence, a mirror in which others cannot help but confront themselves. The power is seductive because it is invisible. Many confuse it with coldness, but in truth, it is intimacy refined to its purest essence. To encounter a woman who has mastered her emotional domain is to encounter a mirror of your own chaos and calm. She reflects without distortion, absorbs without drowning, and her silence speaks volumes. The danger is not in her aggression but in her refusal to compromise her inner architecture. She knows that the more a man seeks to control, to manipulate, to impose, the more he will be revealed to himself. Her power is therefore catalytic, not coercive. She does not need to dominate because dominion is implicit in her clarity. You may ask yourself, how is this cultivated? It begins with recognition of the shadow parts of yourself that society trained you to deny, to hide, to subvert in the name of acceptability. Fear, desire, rage, jealousy, all of it must be met, stared at, embraced like a lover of dark beauty. To tame emotion without numbing it is to walk a tightrope over the abyss of your unconscious, knowing that balance is not given but claimed. When she feels anger, she feels it fully and releases it without harming herself or others unnecessarily. When she desires, she does so with integrity, not with the hunger of the ego seeking validation. Every reaction is considered, not repressed. Every impulse is channeled, not feared. This is emotional sovereignty, and it radiates like an invisible aurora, compelling and dangerous because it is real. There is an art in restraint, a poetry in the measured heartbeat of a woman who does not allow others to pull the strings of her interior world. Men sense it instinctively. Their attempts to dominate are like sticks against steel. Every manipulative gesture, every boastful display, every shallow attempt to entice meets a calm reflection, a gaze that does not waver and a silence that refuses to fill itself with excuses. It is terrifying for the uninitiated, intoxicating for the attuned. She does not need to speak to command. Her equilibrium speaks for her. Emotional control in this sense is not denial. It is mastery, and mastery of oneself has a magnetic pull that surpasses the superficial allure of beauty, wealth, or charm. And yet, this magnetism is dangerous because it tests the very fabric of those around her. Men are drawn into a labyrinth of self-confrontation, of recognizing where their projections begin and their truths end. Those unready for introspection feel threatened. They mistake power for threat. Those ready, however, feel a peculiar liberation, an invitation to step into their own power. The woman who controls her emotions is not a prize. She is a mirror, a catalyst, a force that reshapes energy simply by existing in its full, unyielding presence. You too can sense her, in a fleeting glance, in the weight of a pause, in the serenity of her unbroken attention. She is the storm that does not rage, the fire that does not consume indiscriminately, the ocean that holds its depths even while its surface dances with light. Observe the patterns. Notice the men who approach with masks, the subtle tension in their posture, the unconscious desire to test, to provoke, to bend her. It will not succeed because her magnetism is not a wall but a gravitational field. Every attempt to push or pull her only reveals the architecture of their own ego. You see, she is not playing a game of conquest. She has no need to. Her freedom is the terrain upon which others are measured, and in that measurement they meet their own shadows. Some women move through the world as if carrying a secret current, a rhythm that belongs to no one but themselves. Their power is subtle, imperceptible to those distracted by noise and spectacle, but undeniable to anyone sensitive to depth. It is a danger because it exposes the untrained soul, the man who believes his desire alone can claim, compel, or define. When a woman has mastered her emotional gravity, she becomes a mirror of the masculine unconscious, reflecting not only desire but also insecurity, not only fascination but also fear. She reveals the places men have buried, the shadows they refuse to face, and the egoic illusions they cling to for safety. Some mistake her calm for weakness, others her silence for indifference. In truth, she is neither weak nor indifferent. She is complete. Her power is self-contained, not borrowed, and it is in this completeness that her magnetism becomes irresistible and dangerous. Consider the paradox. She allows intimacy yet never dependency. She allows passion yet never chaos. Men who encounter this energy find themselves simultaneously captivated and destabilized, drawn to her clarity yet unsettled by it. Why? Because they are being measured against something real, something not negotiated by fear, not bargained by need. In her presence, pretense fails. Lies crumble. Emotional manipulation is mirrored back to the sender, revealing the hidden motives that fuel it. It is a test of courage. Will a man meet her honestly, or will he retreat into the familiar trappings of control and domination? The woman who has mastered emotional control is a crucible. She does not ask to be loved. She compels truth. This magnetism is cultivated in silence, in observation, in the sacred space of one's own interior world. She has faced her own shadows, the rage of the past, the wounds of neglect, the tremors of unacknowledged desire, and she has transformed them into tools of insight. Each emotion is a teacher, each impulse a guide. She does not react unconsciously. She responds with the precision of someone who has walked through fire and emerged unburned. This is not cold calculation. It is an intimate dance with her own soul, a harmony between vulnerability and strength that radiates outward, touching those who encounter it. It is a dangerous magnetism precisely because it is unassailable by superficial tactics. No flirtation, no drama, no attempt at provocation can pierce her. She commands by simply being. And yet, to watch her is to witness a paradoxical dance of approach and retreat. Men are drawn in, compelled to lean closer, to seek validation, to test boundaries. She does not yield, and in doing so she teaches. Every pause, every unspoken word, every measured smile becomes a lesson in emotional literacy, in self-awareness, in the quiet power of presence. She is the embodiment of the Stoic maxim. Control what you can, your own reactions, your own mind, your own heart, and let the rest unfold without disturbance. Her mastery does not diminish the world around her. It illuminates it, revealing the illusions and truths others have hidden from themselves. You may feel a tension in your chest, a pull that is both exhilarating and frightening. That is the effect of someone who knows herself fully, someone who has embraced the raw, unfiltered spectrum of her own emotions and forged them into sovereignty. To encounter her is to confront your own emotional immaturity, your habitual reliance on validation, your unexamined compulsions. She will not placate. She will not adjust herself to make others comfortable. Her allure is dangerous because it is honest, and honesty demands confrontation with self. Men may resist, falter, or flee, but those who remain are invited into a space of mutual respect and raw authenticity, a place where passion and awareness coexist without compromise. Her power is not in what she says, but in what she does not need to say. It is in the measured intake of breath, the unbroken gaze, the subtle shift of energy when she moves. Emotional control is not repression, it is precision. It is the ability to navigate the labyrinth of desire and fear without being lost in it. Each encounter becomes a mirror, a test of character, a revelation. Those who are unready will mistake magnetism for arrogance or manipulation. Those who are ready will feel the stirrings of awakening, an invitation to inhabit their own power, to meet their own shadows, to recognize that the energy she radiates is a reflection of what has been denied within themselves. She is both storm and calm, predator and sanctuary, challenge and teacher. Her presence commands without force, inspires without instruction, destabilizes without cruelty. And the danger she poses is not to men as predators, but to men as egoic creatures unaccustomed to authentic reflection. Her magnetism pierces facades, ignites self-awareness, and invites transformation. Every encounter with her becomes an initiation into truth, an exposure to the potency of emotional mastery, and a reminder that power, true power, is always self-originating, never borrowed. There is a subtle violence in her serenity, a dangerous edge in her equilibrium. Men who approach her expecting to stir, to provoke, or to possess, find themselves disarmed. Their strategies fail not because she counters them overtly, but because she operates from a place beyond their comprehension, a place where fear and desire are acknowledged, felt, and released without judgment. The dangerous magnetism of emotional control is not built on manipulation, it is built on mastery. She knows that every surge of emotion is an opportunity for insight, that every desire is a doorway to understanding, that every provocation is a reflection of the other's inner turbulence. Her presence reveals the architecture of the soul, the hidden anxieties, the unspoken longings, and the unconscious projections that men carry like armor they cannot remove. Observe how she moves in social space. Every gesture, every glance, every pause is measured not for effect, but for resonance. Her energy bends and shifts subtly, creating a gravitational field that draws the attentive and repels the unready. Men sense her intensity even when they cannot name it, feel her pull even when they resist it. There is a quiet danger in her awareness because she does not rely on validation from outside. Her power is intrinsic. She does not need applause, attention, or possession. She exists fully, and this fullness is contagious, electrifying, destabilizing. It forces reflection. It forces recognition. It forces confrontation with truths long denied. And yet, this magnetism is often misunderstood. To the uninitiated, it appears aloof, even cold. They misread restraint for lack of passion, clarity for arrogance. But the truth is far deeper. She has lived through the chaos of unmastered emotion, survived the storms of relational turbulence, and emerged tempered, sharpened, luminous. She has faced her shadow with courage, met the darkness of her own psyche with tenderness, and integrated the disowned parts of herself into a coherent, radiant whole. This is the root of her allure, the absolute authenticity of her inner world. It is a magnetism that cannot be faked, cannot be bought, cannot be borrowed. You may feel a strange pull toward such a woman, a tension between admiration and fear. That is because she holds a mirror to the parts of yourself you have hidden, denied, or neglected. Her presence is a test. Will you step forward into honesty, vulnerability, and courage, or will you retreat into the comfort of ego, pretense, and control? The most dangerous aspect of her magnetism is its transformative potential. She does not demand change, but her very existence evokes it. In her orbit, lies unravel, insecurities surface, and the unconscious mind is awakened. The man who is ready will rise to the challenge. The man who is not will crumble beneath the weight of his own projections. This is why emotional control is a form of power both feared and coveted. It is not learned in superficial practices, nor in the pursuit of social dominance. It is forged in the depths of self-awareness, tempered by introspection, and sharpened by the courage to feel fully without being consumed. Anger is felt and released, desire is embraced and understood, fear is acknowledged and transformed. In mastering her own emotional universe, she creates a magnetic field that others cannot resist but also cannot manipulate. She commands attention without effort, influence without coercion, and intimacy without compromise. There is a poetry to this mastery, an artistry in her presence that transcends the ordinary. Men are drawn not to what she offers but to what she illuminates within themselves. Her silence becomes a lesson, her gaze a guide, her restraint a demonstration of freedom. To encounter her is to confront your own unmastered emotions, your habitual need for control, and your dependence on external validation. She is dangerous precisely because she does not rely on others to define her. She is a sovereign being, autonomous and complete. In the tension she creates, there is both challenge and revelation. Every interaction with her is a test of self, an invitation to step into higher awareness, a chance to meet the shadows that have been hidden for too long. Even the strongest ego falters in the face of such presence. Attempts to impress, to dominate, or to seduce are met not with reaction, but with reflection. Her energy mirrors back the unconscious patterns of those around her, revealing the architecture of their inner worlds. She does not need to fight. The confrontation is internal, occurring within the observer, catalyzed by her calm mastery. This is the essence of dangerous magnetism. It destabilizes without aggression, captivates without effort, and transforms without demand. To understand her is to understand the power of emotional sovereignty, and to encounter her is to witness the embodiment of self-mastery in its most compelling form. There is a rhythm to her presence that is both subtle and undeniable, like a current beneath still water. Men feel it before they see it, sense it before they name it. It is not the result of charm or beauty, though those may accompany her. It is the emanation of a mind and heart unbound by reactive impulses, a spirit tempered by reflection and courage. She does not move to impress, to seduce, or to provoke. She moves because she exists fully within herself, and the world bends gently to acknowledge that completeness. The danger in her magnetism lies not in what she does, but in what she embodies, the audacious, unyielding mastery of her own emotional universe. In her orbit, illusions fall away, masks are stripped, and the unconscious truths of those around her rise like tides against the shore. Observe the man who believes he can bend her, influence her, or hold her attention through manipulation or charm. He discovers swiftly that his strategies are ineffective, that the subtle dances of control he has relied on are meaningless here. Her emotional sovereignty is not a wall to overcome. It is a force field of authenticity, impervious to coercion and immune to deceit. The more he seeks to provoke, to entice, to dominate, the more he reveals himself. His fears, his desires, his projections, all mirrored back without distortion. This is a kind of power that terrifies those unready, because it does not conform to the familiar scripts of attraction, possession, or conquest. She is a crucible of truth, a teacher who requires no instruction, a storm that does not rage but sweeps clean the clutter of unexamined ego. And yet, for the man willing to meet her honestly, the effect is profound. Her presence awakens awareness, ignites self-reflection, and compels alignment with what is authentic and vital. He feels the tension between pull and retreat, desire and fear, fascination and humility. Every pause, every measured response, every gaze that lingers just long enough, becomes a lesson in the art of being. She teaches without speaking, instructs without asserting, and captivates without striving. In her, the masculine unconscious meets a reflection of itself that cannot be ignored, a mirror that is neither flattering nor cruel, but simply honest. You may sense a stirring in yourself as you witness such mastery. Perhaps there is envy, admiration, fear, or longing. Know that these reactions are not against her but within you. They are the evidence of unexamined shadows, unclaimed desires, and habitual patterns of seeking validation outside yourself. She does not create this tension deliberately. It emerges naturally from the presence of someone who has cultivated the rare, audacious freedom of emotional self-mastery. And in this freedom, she is not unattainable or aloof. She is sovereign. She moves through the world without compromise, fully aware of her worth, fully in command of her inner landscape, and fully capable of engaging with others from a place of choice rather than need. Her mastery is not born of control over others but of control over herself. She has felt the raw edges of anger, sorrow, desire, and fear. She has confronted them in their fullness and emerged unbroken, tempered by the crucible of self-awareness. Every emotion has been integrated, every impulse acknowledged, every shadow reconciled. This is why her magnetism is irresistible, because it is real, coherent, and complete. Men are drawn not to her for what she offers but to what she evokes within themselves. Her presence catalyzes awakening, compels introspection, and invites alignment with what is true, courageous, and unbound. And here lies the danger. She does not yield to expectation, she does not conform to desire, she does not dilute her presence to accommodate the fragile egos of others. Her energy reveals, challenges, and transforms. It is both an invitation and a test. Those who are unready retreat, misreading clarity for arrogance, restraint for indifference. Those who are ready rise, inspired by her integrity, awakened by her presence, and emboldened by the reflection of their own hidden potential. Her dangerous magnetism lies not in seduction but in sovereignty, not in manipulation but in mastery, not in desire but in authenticity. Every encounter becomes a lesson in reflection, every gaze a meditation, every interaction a test of self. She does not speak to compel, she does not act to manipulate. Her very being is the curriculum, and the classroom is the heart of the observer. Men confront themselves in her orbit, stripped of pretense, challenged to authenticity, and invited to rise into alignment with their own latent power. Emotional control in its most profound form is not a tactic, it is a state of being. It is the quiet authority of someone who has mastered the turbulence within and radiates a gravity that cannot be resisted, only acknowledged. She walks through the world like a quiet revolution, a presence that shifts the very air without effort or awareness of spectacle. Her magnetism is dangerous because it is anchored in truth, a truth that cannot be bargained with, deceived, or contained. Every interaction with her becomes a mirror, reflecting back the unconscious patterns of those who encounter her, illuminating the hidden cracks in their armor, and demanding a reckoning with themselves. Men are drawn into her orbit, compelled to confront the parts of themselves they have long denied, the fear, the longing, the desire for recognition, the shadows they hope remain unseen. She does not confront with words, she confronts with existence, and in this confrontation, transformation becomes inevitable for those willing to face it. There is an elegance in the restraint she practices, a poetry in the measured cadence of her emotions. Anger is not suppressed but transmuted into insight. Desire is not indulgent but channeled into depth. Fear is not avoided but recognized and transformed. Her mastery does not rely on external validation because she has cultivated the rare and luminous skill of being fully alive in her own presence. This is the essence of dangerous magnetism. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or simulated. It is the product of a woman who has integrated her shadow, embraced her complexity, and surrendered to the power of self-knowledge. Men are drawn not to a mask of charm, but to the gravitational pull of someone who knows herself entirely, someone who does not need to prove, to please, or to perform. You may feel it yourself even now as you consider the power she wields, a pull that is both seductive and unsettling, an invitation that challenges as much as it entices. This is not a game of conquest, and yet the stakes are higher than most can comprehend. To encounter her is to confront the very structure of desire, control, and projection that governs the unconscious mind. The unready flee, mistaking mastery for coldness. The ready rise, inspired and awakened by the reflection of their own untapped potential. She destabilizes not by force but by the very nature of her presence, which radiates integrity, coherence, and sovereignty. In the magnetic field of emotional control, men find themselves measured against a standard they cannot manipulate, seduced by a power they cannot possess, and compelled to face truths they have long ignored. And in the culmination of this force lies her gift, a revelation of freedom. She is not captive to desire, to approval, or to expectation. She chooses what enters her inner world and what is allowed to linger, and in this discernment she creates a space of clarity and grace. Emotional control is not suppression but liberation, and her mastery is a guidepost for those willing to awaken. Every glance, every pause, every silence becomes a reflection, an instruction, an invitation to step into one's own power. She is dangerous because she is whole. She is magnetic because she is real. She is irresistible because she is free. The culmination of this journey is a vision of detachment, not indifference but liberation from the need for external validation. She moves through the world untethered, observing, feeling, and responding with intentionality, never enslaved by the desires or fears of others. In her presence, one learns that attraction is not a matter of pursuit, that connection is not a transaction, and that true intimacy arises only when each soul meets itself fully. She embodies the paradox of being desired and untouchable, known yet mysterious, near yet untethered. Every encounter becomes a lesson in presence, a challenge to authenticity, and a catalyst for transformation. Ultimately, the woman who has mastered emotional control teaches by example, embodying the principles that many seek but few attain: self-mastery, integrity, sovereignty, and presence. She radiates a quiet authority, a serene intensity, and a dangerous magnetism that cannot be tamed. She is a mirror, a teacher, and a catalyst, not through coercion, but through the undeniable power of her own completeness. And in witnessing her, the observer is offered a rare gift: the chance to awaken, to integrate, and to rise into their own sovereignty.